What are you laughing at?
The dog's just nicked off with a broccoli.
He's nicked off with a broccoli?
Do you know that broccoli toy?
Oh, a cuddly broccoli.
Yeah, he's just gone with it. I'm just going to have to roll with it. It's fine.
Hopefully the broccoli's still intact later on.
It's not going to be.
It's not going to be. Vinny plays by wrecking things, but no, we don't just leave actual broccoli around the house. I can't hear it being ripped up just yet.
I heard the shake. It's fine. We're just going to move on. The broccoli's left the building. You're listening to the I Do Not Have a Clue podcast, hosted by Tom and Em.
We're a married couple that work in the wedding industry, and we're here to chat all things wedding. And he let out the most almighty fart. Hello!
Hey, and welcome back to the I Do Not Have a Clue podcast.
This week, we are carrying on from last week on the conversation of the big four. Number 1 was...
venue.
Number 2 is going to be...
catering.
Catering. Food. Glorious food. I love food.
Woohoo.
Wedding food can be some of the best food you'll taste.
Can be.
Can be.
Can be.
Can be. This weekend just gone with the Rockets Collective, we were down in Cornwall. Beetham's food down in Cornwall. Beetham's Catering. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But I'm going to speak about them in a bit because, the food was just so tasty. But we were having a conversation a few weeks ago now.
Yeah.
In our job, we do lots of driving. And
we do.
We spend a lot of time on the road. And a lot of it is late night McDonald's and Waitrose meal deals and...
two very different ends of the
Well, they
market.
are, but like every service station is like Waitrose or Marks and Spencer's.
It's true.
Tesco's wouldn't go amiss. Would save some money.
What's the best meal deal?
The best meal, well...
I know I've gone off the track already.
Doesn't matter.
But
best meal deal is a great question.
Yeah.
Best meal deal, for me, personally, like a chicken club.
No, as in like the supermarket.
Oh, which supermarket? Tesco, hands down.
Really?
Well, yeah, because like Waitrose and Marks and Spencer's are good, but like you need to take out a second mortgage to afford one.
What about Sainsbury's?
No, Sainsbury's meal deal was poor.
Really?
Poor Sainsbury's meal deal. And they lure you in because they're like, oh, look at all these sandwiches. Oh, by the way, if it doesn't have this tiny little red sticker on, it's not in the meal deal. But anyway, we're talking about wedding food, not meal deals. But on that type of question, we were having the conversation on the way back from a gig a few weeks ago now about what is the best starter, main, dessert combo. Not combo, but like what is your favourite starter, your favourite main course and your favourite dessert? Starter. Go on.
It depends what mood I'm in.
Oh, brilliant. Fantastic way to start that. It depends what mood. Well, I'm just going to put it out there. Mine is like pate.
No.
Yeah, well, you're vegetarian,
mine.
so I mean mushroom pate, but pate,
I would say
nice
some
sourdough
sort
bread.
of mushroom, garlic.
Garlic mushrooms.
Yeah, something like that.
On toast or just how it comes?
On sourdough.
On sourdough. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're both getting some bread in
Or
there.
the I'm gonna get slated by the Italians.
Go on, say it.
Bruschetta.
Bruschetta.
One of them.
Tomatoes on bread.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Italians. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, bruschetta. Tomatoes on bread is really tasty. Really tasty. We've got an Italian friend who'll have to make sure that either they don't see this or we apologise before we put it out.
I remember they actually like properly taught me how to say it, but
was this when we were in Sicily?
No, there's actually a barbecue.
Okay.
It's for Guy's birthday actually.
Oh, fantastic.
And I can't remember how to say it, so I do apologise.
So it didn't last that long. But anyway, okay, so
but that
pate for me, or
tomatoes on toast or mushrooms on toast.
Tomatoes on toast or mushrooms on toast for him. Okay. Main course. What are you saying?
At the moment, I've been really craving a vegetarian lasagna, like with all the vegetables. No mince, like veggie mince. I just want like roasted vegetable lasagna.
But is that your favourite?
At the moment, yeah.
Okay, at the moment. Okay, fair enough.
If not, probably some sort of like roast dinner.
Yeah, okay, that's good. At least we agree on that.
Yeah.
In the winter,
yeah,
for me, it's a roast dinner.
Mince and dumplings.
You're so northern. You're so mince and dumplings. You're so northern.
I wouldn't get it from a restaurant.
No, but home cooked mince and dumplings is banging. But for me, in the winter, a roast dinner, with all the trimmings.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking, and I'm putting it out there right now. Whoever says Yorkshire puddings only go with beef, you are categorically wrong.
Wrong.
But we are agreeing. And we said we wouldn't force opinions on you in this podcast.
Wrong.
You're wrong.
Yeah,
Yorkshire puddings go with every type of roast dinner, and even just not even your roast, just Yorkshire puddings. But
wow.
I'm talking Yorkshire puddings for me. Pigs in blankets, so much veg, all of the good stuff. But in the summer, we all know what it is for me. A barbecue.
Yes.
A barbecue.
Yeah.
Absolutely love a barbecue. So, but I'm talking proper barbecue, not just sausages and burgers, spatchcock chicken, roasted veg, halloumi.
Love halloumi.
All the good stuff. Just all the good stuff. And then dessert.
Brownie. Warm
brownie with cream, ice cream, custard.
Ice cream.
Okay. I'm quite controversial. A cheese board.
Well, not now.
Well, not now. No, I can't eat dairy or gluten. So actually, my roast dinner's plan's flawed as well.
The gluten-free, dairy-free roast dinner I did the other night.
Oh, yeah, it was banging.
That was absolutely incredible.
Did we have Yorkshire pudding?
No.
No, we didn't.
We have once made gluten-free, dairy-free Yorkshire puddings, but those...
They're a bit of a struggle. So if anybody is gluten-free, dairy-free and knows how to make a mean Yorkshire pudding, please let us know. Because I'm missing them.
You also can't eat eggs.
In an ideal... No, or eggs. Well, that's dairy-free.
Some people class dairy-free as just milk.
Oh, well, it would be good if you had that kind of issue to clarify it with your caterer for the wedding, wouldn't it?
Whoa, what a segue!
What a segue.
Let's jump straight in.
So, again, when we're talking about these deep dives, there's sort of 4 main points that we think, there's other little points, but 4 main points or 4 main stages you're going to go through when it comes to booking one of the big 4. And we've broken it down into the before you book, the hunt for that person. So once you've
the research.
The researcher. Once you've aligned your visions, going back to episode 1. Once you've done that, you then need to discuss what you want. You then need to find a caterer that fits that bill. So the hunt, and then you've got the call. You're probably going to want to do a call with that with your supplier. Just Definitely. As a bit of a step, I advise doing a call with any supplier you're going to book.
1,000%.
Even if you're booking love letters or something like that, I would just say it doesn't have to be a video call. Just jump on a call just to hear that person's voice, and you can often get a feel for that person. But especially with the big 4, you need to really trust.
Oh,
we have a dog on the sofa today.
You just sat on my phone. It's really ideal. Thanks, Vin.
Oh, big yawn. If you can't see Vinny, he's yawned, but I don't know whether you can see him or not. But anyway.
Good boy.
Especially with the big 4, you need to be able to trust these people with the most important parts of your day. And then there's the actual booking process, the questions you need to ask, all of that kind of thing. So one thing that we need to just clear up in this podcast is excuse me. There's 2 types of catering.
Yeah.
There's internal and external catering. So, and hopefully this is fairly obvious. Internal is, does your venue provide a caterer? Do they do their own catering? Are they a restaurant? So, for example, our venue was an internal catering, and it was part of the package that we had. And then you had to choose your menu and that kind of thing from a selection.
Yeah.
There was a lot.
There was a lot.
There was a lot of options, actually.
But there weren't very good ones. Whoa, I said it.
Oh, there we go. Good
boy,
Vinny's
Vin.
gone to sleep.
Very tired pup today.
He's a very tired puppy. But the external thing is, do you want to use the internal caterers? Have you booked a venue that lets you bring in external caterers? Or are you having a marquee wedding or a dry hire or something like that where you need an external caterer to come in? And so a lot of this is going to be geared towards external catering, but we're going to try and link it back to how that might affect the internal catering decision as well.
Yeah, and I just want to put a preface out there. We've had, I think, probably a 50-50 split on the weddings that we've done.
This year especially.
Yeah, from if it's an external
to
internal. But I would say quite often as well, some people, I would say some people actually would have internal caterers for the day. And then they did bring in
external
for the evening. So there's always an option, but you have to obviously have that conversation with your venue to see if that is a viable option to whatever you fancy doing.
For sure.
Sorry, I just wanted to
I think it's a really good point, because often, I think I've mentioned them before, there's a pizza company called Dough and Deer.
Yes.
And they don't do daytime catering, as far as I'm aware. So sorry if I'm doing you dirty here, Dough and Deer, but I've only ever seen them do evening catering, because they have their pizza van or their pizza oven on the back of a Jeep, an old Jeep, and it looks, and they make brilliant pizza. But they only do the evening. So people that book them, for example, would either have a second caterer come in for the daytime, or they would have the internal catering during the day and then external in the evening, something like that. So we are going to chat the difference between venue and external very quickly. Like, obviously, we've done that. What are you laughing at?
The dog's just nicked off with my broccoli.
He's nicked off with a broccoli?
Do you know that broccoli toy?
Oh, a cuddly broccoli.
Yeah, he's just gone with it. I'm just going to have to roll with it. It's fine.
Hopefully the broccoli's still intact later on.
It's not going to be.
It's not going to be. Vinny plays by wrecking things, but no, we don't just leave actual broccoli around the house. I can't hear it being ripped up just yet.
I heard the shake. It's fine. We're just going to move on. The broccoli's left the building.
But it's not an actual broccoli. It is a cuddly broccoli, because Em has an obsession with broccoli.
Oh, broccoli's the best vegetable.
It would be on your wedding meal, I presume. Somewhere.
1,000%. Yeah.
But anyway, it's already taken a very, very
don't work with animals.
big drop. No, don't work with animals or kids. But we don't have kids yet, so just don't work with animals. But
right, carrying on.
We're going to chat very quickly about the venue versus external and what might sway your decision to have those. Obviously, if your venue, say you have to use the internal caterer, then that's the style of venue you picked, and that's what needs. I think we mentioned it last week. Is what needs to be discussed when you're chatting about to your venue about what they provide. Yeah. But you need to decide what style you want, and what style things different caterers offer, or whether some people. The big thing at the moment is that whole sharing, kind of communal feel to your food, but a lot of, and we'll come back and talk about that, but a lot of venues won't offer that style.
No,
it's more external that will offer that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's becoming more of a trend as well.
Yeah.
So,
maybe we'll see venues doing it more.
That's what exactly I was going to say.
Maybe we will see it doing it more. I can think of a couple of venues that do. That we've played recently. There's a chain of venues called the Crips & Co venues.
Yes.
And they have some beautiful venues, and they have almost like live, so you can watch the cooking happening through and go into the kitchens, and it's all part of the experience. And their food is brilliant, and they do most things, as far as I'm aware, sharing platters or have that option at least.
Yeah.
And then the other venue that we've done recently is called the Rabbit Hotel and Spa, which is in Northern Ireland.
Yes.
And they do big sharing boards for starters. They have a roast dinner. It's almost like a carvery, but on another level of carvery.
It looks incredible. So good.
And then they have dessert tables.
A sharing table for dessert.
Yeah, exactly. So that is an option at some venues, but if you are looking for that, the likelihood is you're going to have to get an external caterer in. But just be careful with that kind of food, with barbecues and things like that. We've had some really good ones in our job. We've also had some it's questionable. You don't want to say it because it's someone's wedding, but it hasn't been the best food.
I would say, in terms of the barbecue situation, it probably wasn't the best for us because there wasn't anything left.
Yeah, so I'm as suppliers, there wasn't anything left.
Yeah.
But even when we have had stuff, it's been because they either batch cook it.
Yeah.
and then it's sitting there drying out and things like that.
Yeah, it needs to be fresh barbecue food.
If you've got, and you see some venues that are like, oh, we do barbecues, and then they bring out like a small gas family barbecue, and you're like, no, if you're going to serve 100 people, it needs to be bang, 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 and like you need to be able to cook, because then you have the people waiting around thing as well. It's a tough line to tread.
It's really difficult. I would actually really, really dislike being a caterer, having to think about, like, especially barbecue food.
Oh yeah, being a caterer,
It's
like, fair play to caterers.
Tough.
So difficult, because food's one of those things as well, and I've said this before on this podcast. Food is one of those things that if it's bad, people will tell you. But if it's good, they'll say, oh, that was nice. Yeah, the food was really good. But if it's bad, they'll be like, oh, no, definitely not. Do you remember that food at that wedding? Do you know what I mean? And unfortunately, I think that's just how the life of being a caterer. But it's a tough one. So fair play to all the caterers.
Definitely.
But just touching on venue catering very quickly and some of the pros of it and some tips on it. It makes it a more simple process if you're going to have internal catering. I was
literally about to say, you don't have... Not that you don't have to think about it, but you don't...
Don't have to hunt.
So, yeah, and it's not so intense to be like, what cuisine do we have? Like,
there's less so decisions to make.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it simplifies it.
Yeah.
But with that, you might have less choice or less flexibility. Like the hotel and golf club that we got married in, whilst there were lots of options, lots of the options were fairly similar.
Yeah, and I mean, as a vegetarian, and the fact that actually at that point I don't really think I was eating fish.
Not really, no.
And
so you're a pescatarian, really?
Yeah, I'm a pescatarian.
But you have been a vegetarian.
Yeah. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, like you guys were gonna have like a roast dinner, and I think the only vegetarian option, as I remember, I might be doing them dirty, but the only vegetarian option I remember was is it tagine?
A tagine.
That one.
A vegetable tagine. There might have been a pasta as well, possibly.
I don't think there was.
No. But I think a lot of whilst tagine.
But that was it. I was just like, oh.
Tagine isn't. Wow, we've really got ourselves into a hole here. A tagine isn't a traditional English dish, but it's like I feel like it's kind of like a pub dish.
Yeah, but I just think it was a rogue one to go for.
Oh, 100%. But what I mean is, like, on our menu, I think a lot of them weren't. There wasn't like any crazy things that you could go for.
No.
Like different cuisines from different countries. I know tagine. I'm not saying tagine is English, but it's a fairly we've adopted it, and it's a regular thing on a lot of menus.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I think with our food as well, we tried to be as clear as possible, but I don't think it quite got across to the caterer at the venue.
No.
But we'll discuss that when it comes to some bits later on. But so that leads on to make sure you're looking at all of the choices that are available. Question those choices as well. Like from the venue, are they flexible? Are they not? But I think one thing we didn't do, which we should have done, is try before you buy. Try before you buy.
Try before you buy.
Because I think
I would have 100% changed the option.
We'd have changed the option.
Like 1,000%.
And
the Warburtons would have been gone.
But almost, possibly, or no, it would have made me consider, is that the right venue? I think. What's up?
I just heard a really weird noise. Oh. Sorry.
It's so hot in this room. We have to have the window open while we're recording. So, but anyway, I think it would have changed, possibly, or made me consider the venue.
But at that point, we would have signed the contract.
Not if you try before you buy. Because all of this part would probably be part of the venue hunt at the same time.
I don't think I've ever heard of someone try the food before booking the venue. I thought you always book your venue and then try your meal.
Yeah, but what if it's like our place?
Yeah.
It's a golf club. We could have gone and had a roast dinner there.
Very true.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, okay, got you.
Yeah.
I thought you meant actually try your menu before you book your venue.
No. Your menu tastes and all of that, that'd be much later. I mean, like, if you've got the option to, like, if you're getting married in a golf club or a hotel or something like that, go and try. You don't have to try the exact food, but go and make sure you're happy with the standard that you've eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah. But moving on, I think we should get into the things that you've discussed the dogs being a nutter, but you've discussed those things that you want to think about before you book. So the venue or external debate, the style of food, barbecues, sharing platters, all of that. And then the one thing we didn't mention was, do you want to offer one option, as in a starter, main, dessert, and that's it? Obviously, vegetarian, to cater for dietary requirements, you'd change it. Or, then this is a big trend.
I was just about to say this. I've seen more and more in the actual invitation as part of your
RSVP.
Blah, 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 blah. That one.
I don't know what it stands for. But everyone knows exactly what.
I think it's French.
Well, we've got no chance then. We'll look it up. Anyone who knows what RSVP is, in the comments. And if it's on Spotify.
Respond.
No,
I'm not even going to try.
But.
Anyway.
RSVP. In your RSVP.
It gives you a list of, say 2 options, 1 starter, 1 main. No, 2 starters, 2 mains, 2 desserts, whatever. And
you choose.
You choose.
Oh, nice.
So I've seen that guests get a choice. It'll be 2 starters that are served, 2 mains, 2 desserts. But you actually get to choose between each.
Or there's I have seen that actually.
Yeah.
And you can, there's 3 sometimes for the main course, and there's a meat option, a fish option, or a vegetarian option. So that's quite nice, because sometimes, so for me, for example, I don't really like roast beef.
No. You're not really red meat sort of fan.
No, I'm a bit of a plain chicken guy, really. But if the meat option was beef, but there was a pasta dish, I would definitely fish dish. I'd probably consider the fish dish.
Yeah.
And it's a bit lighter, so in the summer people might want that and things like that. Do you know what I mean? So if it's obviously it's England, so who knows? But
could be chucking it down.
Exactly, but if it's going to be a bit warm, so you might want something a bit lighter. But when you're actually, those are the things you've done before you start hunting for a caterer.
Yeah.
The caterer hunt, I would say, is the most important part of this, of finding your caterer.
Definitely.
But, before, not menu tasting, not the call, anything like that. Really taking time to research caterers.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, if it's good, then great, you've fed your guests good food. If it's bad, the likelihood is you're going to find out about it. As in, you'll find out from your guests.
Yeah.
So, do they offer local? Do you want food that is local to the area?
In terms of ingredients, or do you mean in terms of not culturally, but
local delicacies?
So in the northeast, we've got something called peas pudding.
Oh, peas pudding is the best.
So would you have a ham and peas pudding stotty?
A stotty? A stotty? Say that again.
Stotty.
Stotty? You're going to need to explain to most of the listeners what a ham and peas pudding stotty is going to be.
If you don't know, get to know.
Well, it's difficult because you can't get it south of Darlington.
Well, take a trip up there.
We discussed last week,
like bread.
The northeast is a long way for most people.
It's bread, normally around I'd say about this big. Obviously,
for people on Spotify, that's probably
10
the size of a frisbee, let's say.
Yeah, frisbee size.
A frisbee shape as well.
Yeah, pretty much.
But deeper.
And it's round and
no, a square frisbee.
Be quiet. And it's probably a couple of inches thick. And it's, I wouldn't say crispy on the top, but it's firm.
Yeah, it's firm on the top and then really soft.
And then really soft and fluffy on the
white
inside.
roll kind of vibe.
Yeah, and then you normally have a triangle. And then peas puddings this. It's going to sound gross, but just
it does sound wrong, but it's brilliant.
It's split peas. It's yellow. It's a little bit like northern hummus.
I wouldn't dip a crisp in it.
Well, no, but
I would say it's more like pate.
Yeah, maybe. Traditionally it's made with ham broth. When you're cooking your ham, it's made with that and split peas. But actually, you can get vegan.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's really good.
But
if you go to the northeast, try it.
Do you want a local delicacy?
Yeah.
So for example, if maybe one of you is Scottish, do you want some kind of form of haggis at a wedding or something like that? Don't offend people.
I'm not gonna. I didn't say
Em
anything.
doesn't really like the idea of haggis. I think haggis is quite nice.
Have you tried
But
it?
like, I've had haggis. Haggis is well nice. But even like that wedding I was talking about down in Cornwall, like for their evening food, Cornish pasties, like
that's so.
it has to be done, and like they're
it.
brilliant. The Cornish, like that Cornish pasty, especially.
I don't think I've ever had a Cornish pasty from Cornwall.
You've had a cheese and onion pasty.
No,
from Cornwall. When we went to Cornwall, I bought you one. I bought you one.
I don't remember it.
Oh, Cornish pasties. Anyway, but do you want a local delicacy? Yeah. Especially if you're going for a destination wedding. Like, do you want to try something from that country and things like that? But I also mean, are you fussed by produce being local? Like, as in farmed and sourced locally?
I think that's pretty cool.
I think it is as well. A lot of venues really will. If they do, they will tell you about it.
Yeah.
And caterers, they will pride themselves on how locally their food is sourced, like especially meat and things like that.
Yeah.
But because it's nice though, because you know it's fresh. It hasn't been it's frozen, or it hasn't been like sitting in like
a massive warehouse
for however long, or however long it's taken to get from a different country and all that kind of thing. But I think you need to ask that, or think about, do you want produce local to the area? And if you do, then you need to make sure your caterer is very open about where they get their produce from.
Yeah.
I think the general vibe, like you'll get a vibe from a caterer's website or like their Instagram, their social media and that kind of thing. Like, and I think if this is a very big generalisation, but something that I've found to be right a few times, if it looks dated, then their food is probably dated, but not dated in a bad way. Traditional, let's say.
Yeah.
Traditional is a better word. So I think we would have probably considered quite a traditional caterer because I always wanted a roast dinner for my wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
Now, I think if we got married now, I think we'd change it up.
Yeah, it would.
But back then, I think, and I say back then, it was only 3 years ago.
Nearly.
In fact, no, next week it'll be 3 years. So on the next podcast.
Actually, it will be
our anniversary on the day.
Aw, and then how many years would we have been together?
3. Married for 3, together for 9.
I know, that is a long time.
Wow. Brilliant. But I think if you're looking for that modern, throw the rule book out the window, the platters, the sharing things, all of that kind of thing, then you're probably going to be searching for a potentially slightly more modern caterer.
Yeah.
But you need to check experience.
Definitely.
Numbers, like have they got experience? If you're having 500 people, have they done that before?
I would also say if you are having external caterers along the same lines of numbers, are the venue gonna give you like servers as well, or is it literally just gonna be the caterers that bring the waiters, waitresses,
the wait staff? Yeah. Normally, a caterer would bring wait staff as well from experience, but sometimes venues would supply
sometimes they have like both, don't they?
Yeah.
Like one does the drinks run, one does the food run.
Oh, well, yes. I mean, sometimes if you're doing like a marquee wedding or something, most of the time your caterer will also be your bar.
Yeah.
But there's lots of different combinations out there,
definitely.
But you need to ask that question.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
And have a look for it. But the experience is really key. Like, have they got experience cooking the style of cuisine that you want?
Yeah.
And I think we've already touched on it, the specialities. Do you want a local delicacy? But cultural specialities as well. Like, is there a religious aspect to your wedding that needs to be ticked off by the food? Or are you very keen on a certain cuisine because you've got family or from there or something like that?
Definitely.
So like, I'm just thinking kind of like, I remember actually a wedding that I was a guest at, but also did a bit of kind of helping out. It was for a friend. And he married an Indian girl. And so they had a traditional kind of English wedding breakfast, but in the evening it was all Indian food.
Oh,
and it was great.
Love
really
that.
Really good stuff. So, but do you want that? Do you need to be ticking different ticking the box of different food from different cultures and different countries and things like that? And then you can get dietary specific caterers.
Yes, you can.
Like, not, can you cater for vegans? are you a vegan caterer,
supplier? Yeah,
a vegan supplier, food supplier? Because you might both be vegan, for example, and that might be really high on your agenda and your priority list. And do you want everything at your wedding to be vegan? Things like that. I once when I exhibited at a vegan wedding show.
I don't think you knew that.
I didn't know it was a vegan wedding show. It was one of my first ever wedding shows. I think it was the first ever wedding show I went to.
It was.
But we were a band, and I was like, okay, well, hopefully no one. And then someone came up to me.
How is your band vegan?
Yeah, someone came, so what makes your band vegan? I was like, as I just put down my sausage roll. That I wasn't supposed to be eating because I didn't know it was a vegan wedding show.
Oh, what? That is outrageous.
I know, but I didn't know. It's not my fault. I just didn't know.
Should have read. Read.
But
I bet the contract said vegan suppliers.
Oh yeah, probably. This was back in the day.
Contracts.
This is back in the day when we were like very, very naive and young. But anyway, do you want to be ticking off a dietary specific? Like, do they specialise in vegetarian food, for example?
Yeah.
And then again, we've said this before, but I'm going to say it again: looking at reviews. Looking
Definitely,
at reviews.
it's so important.
It's super important for food because people are really honest.
Yeah.
When it comes to food reviews.
I actually have a fun fact. One of our singers is a top Google reviewer.
Yeah, we're not going to say which one, but one of our singers is a serial Google reviewer.
Yeah.
And will leave Google reviews wherever they go. Most of the time. Definitely used to be. I'm not sure anymore, but I might be wrong. But people
recently knew this fact and I didn't know it. I've known them for years.
But people will review the food, so please do look at them.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the call with different caterers. Okay? I implore you, more than anything, to not just do one call with a caterer. Pick a few caterers and hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
Because you might be, if they know how to talk the talk, then you might be sold, but actually realise that they don't have a Scooby. Right? So please do. But that's the rule with all your suppliers.
Yeah.
Even with the Rockets Collective. When people speak to us and we followed you for ages, we really want you to be a part of our day before, just as they've got engaged, they're like, right, we're engaged. Like,
let's go.
Well, we need a venue first.
Yeah.
But give me a date. But I say, make sure we're the right supplier for you. I say that in confidence because I know they'll come back to the Rockets most of the time. Because they love what we do. But I'm like, go and test something else to know that you want us.
100%.
You need to do that with a caterer as well. If you've had a caterer that, I don't know, did a siblings wedding, that happens quite a bit, where you've already got experience of them. You know you're going to have them. Just make sure.
Yeah, but definitely.
The call, I think it's good. Again, with the venue, like we said, trying different. We book to see different types of venue. I think you should book in to see different types of caterers.
Yeah.
Book in a slightly more traditional caterer. Book in a caterer that specialises in certain cuisine. Book in a caterer that specialises in the sharing platters and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think along with the sharing platters, there are I think it's a really nice idea. I know some people may struggle with sharing platters and may not feel comfortable if they're
okay. Yeah.
So it's a very, very new thing. I think recently I've seen it more and more. I mean, we've recently done a couple of weddings with sharing platters, and there was a couple of people that you could see was visibly uncomfortable.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Something to bear in mind. I wouldn't say definitely don't do it.
You don't need to change your plan because of it.
No.
Maybe some pre-warning, if that's a thing.
Yeah, I would say.
Even if you could just put it on your invitation.
Or if you know that someone close to you. I mean, if it's not that they don't matter, but if it's a
bottom ender on a bottom table.
Yeah, wedding
not that
politics.
You can say that, but a wedding politics, a bottom table.
Yeah, then.
But also, I'm just putting it out there. If you're sitting on table 12 out of 12 at a wedding, and most of the time that doesn't mean that you're not as important.
No.
But for some people it does. But if there's somebody that let's phrase it this way.
Yeah.
Let's phrase it this way. If there's somebody that you're not close enough to know that they feel like that, don't be concerned by that. But if you know somebody is going to struggle with that, maybe some pre-warning.
Yeah.
Or not an option for it to be different because they don't want to know that they're different. But maybe don't question it if they are eating differently.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a really good point. I think it's a really good point, and links
Yeah.
in with that point of like not feeling comfortable about numbers at your ceremony and that kind of thing. Like,
again, I wouldn't say don't do it, but it's just something to be mindful of.
no, I agree.
But again, it's your wedding.
It is your wedding at the end of the day.
If you're obviously, if it was like a close family member maybe, or a really close friend, and you wanted them to be like as involved as possible, then
that might change.
Yeah, exactly.
That might change. But it's like anything, though. It's like anything. Like, for us, and I regret this a bit, for us, finding a caterer or finding a venue that really did well in vegetarian food should have been a higher priority for us.
I 1,000% agree.
And especially for me, and I hold my hands up there. Like, I was like, I so want to roast dinner. They're like, oh, I think because we could. Usually, it was like, oh, you walk into anywhere, or we do it at home. And it's like, yeah, you don't need a nut roast or something like that. You're just like, I'll just have everything but the meat.
Yeah, that is literally.
And that's what we wanted, and that's not what you got.
And
a vegetarian gravy.
Yeah.
But I think because we just assumed that would be the case, we didn't actually dive into that too much.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing as that. Like, if not feeling comfortable on one of those platters, for example, like a sharing situation or a buffet situation, is not exactly the same, but is the same mindset that as a couple you've got to take to somebody that has a dietary requirement. Okay, you need to make sure there's something for them, but if they're super close to you, like us, like me and you, for example, I should have been a bit better at, is this vegetarian option good enough for you?
Yeah, I mean, again, you have so much on your mind anyway.
100%.
It's probably, like, as I said in our previous episode, food wasn't really my main priority.
No.
And
no. But in hindsight as well, I don't think we were given what we were told we were going to get.
No, definitely not.
But anyway, we'll come back. We'll come back to that. We will talk about that before the episode is out. But we are, like I said, we are going to do an episode on our wedding as well.
Yeah.
So, discuss the format of the wedding. I think is a really good thing to do with your caterer. Say, this is what we want. How does that work with canapes, with service of a